Hello, welcome to the Reframing Mindset podcast. We are clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity and practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day. Okay, now welcome back to Reframe Mindset Podcast. My name is Constant Brooks. And this episode, I guess if you mentioned way back when you'd have heard that and I started to do the second cleaning up the backyard. And I got a tool. I got a tool that I was that I got to you to actually assist with that. And that is the machete. And the thing about it is that the when I just started, we're on day 10 now. Because I say it's the first time I'm using the tool. So, takes time to actually get into it. And, prior to this, none of these tasks I never usually do. I was pretty protected person. Majority of the hard labor stuff that many people men do. And I never really do that stuff. I never so I was really in the real world when things got hard. I was start getting on my own, like after university. Cause even in university I barely did also have lab stuff and barely did anything that was dangerous. I did in certain cases. But when the real world now, this pandemic stuff, when I actually started have to go on my own again and I have to protect myself, and I have to do a lot of these manual labor. Cutting the yard is now one of those things. And the funny thing is seeing how I'm getting to when I getting to learn how to use my actually quicker than I thought. And it's not me saying I actually know to use it because I can see that I'm pretty amateur with it. But what I've seen is the grass is cutting. So that's why I kind of say, oh, the grass is cutting. I'm actually halfway. So it's dated now from when I started. And I'm halfway through the backyard. So that's wild. That's wild. And what happened was, it's I guess I can attribute it to something that I mentioned way back in one of my early episodes where I mentioned why I reached this far in my journey. And I can chalk it up to compound learning in the sense that, what happened was that my the previous hard labor that I was doing, like walking, like I still haven't gotten a car yet, so mostly I'm doing walking and such like that. And all those stuff kind of built up my body to be able to tolerate something like this. So, the me that just left university could not do this job. But the me now that I've gone through 4 years of this pandemic trial and tribulation, the body has been built up. Right? It's a more sturdier body that is able to manage this task. So I guess that's one of the things that I can kind of attribute to why during this task quicker, and I've been doing different tasks that kind of see was like this. So when it came to this, my body just um switching, I, what should I say? Acclimating. No, that's it's adjusting accordingly. So that's one of the things you realize on your journey. I think I mentioned it before, where the simple tasks that you do now will start to compound, and you certain different tasks you will realize require the same type of skills that you use from a previous task. So when you go to that next task, it will be relatively easier than you thought it would be, and such like that. So that's basically the main thing I wanted to get from this episode. Next thing about it is I want you to get about this episode is one thing I learned on this clean the backyard journey is that you have to push through. Cause like sometimes when I'm cutting the back, as I said, I'm halfway through. Sometimes, bro, when I'm cutting blade, it feels like I'm going nowhere. And in that really sense that I'm not going anywhere. 'Cause I'm seeing the grass are being cut. But sometimes I look at the journey and be like, damn, will I ever finish? That's that's on what on my mind sometimes. And then all of a sudden what happened is after I just said, okay, I'm going to just clean pile up the grass that I have now and just put it one side for today. And then I look at the ground, I see how the ground is clean. Then I realize, damn, bro, I will really make some progress. So that's basically one of the funny thing on this clean the backyard journey. When you're actually doing it, you really have to motivate yourself to actually push through that initial part. But when you actually clean up the grass and then see the clear ground, you'll be like, wow, I'm actually doing something, So that's one of the fun thing on this journey. hmm So I guess the next thing is I kind of mentioned is that the rake is down again. So that's my second rake. So that's to show you how really bad this backyard is. It's gonna take some time to actually get used to dealing with it. So I have to get another rake. hmm So yeah, so I guess as I said, maintain this home is a job. Yes, you have to be a CEO, always on the job, always on the job. So that's basically it for this episode. Thank you for listening, and I look forward for the next episode. Mhm.
Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/cssb/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page, Reframing Mindset Podcast, or on Twitter at ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.
It's going to be the end of September update, because we made it to the end of September. Yeah, I have to say, every time I record these things, when I reach this end of end of month update, I always just feel chill. I always just feel chill. Like maybe because I've accomplished some stuff that every time I just get on the mic and just talk about the end of the month, I just feel happy. I feel peaceful or something like that. You know? But the end of the month, I say we made some progress. I made some progress. As I'm officially below 200 pounds. Yeah, and it's fluctuating. It's going. I'm in the 190 region, and it's fluctuating from right now. It's like let's see.